Hi, my name is Tim. Welcome to my channel. Today I made a cheese board in the shape of Kentucky, and I made them out of woods that I actually sourced here locally in Kentucky. I've got walnut, ash, and maple. The ash actually has some spalting in it, which I mistakenly put on the back side instead of the front side. That was a mistake during glue up. But you can see the spalting actually in the ash. It was beautiful, just too bad I put it in reverse. And the maple has a lot of curl in it. I don't know if this will actually show up on video, but there's a bunch of curl in this maple. But let me show you how I made it.
So I created a template in Adobe Illustrator. It took 2 sheets of paper, so I taped them together and trimmed them out on my pattern. After applying some spray adhesive, I placed the pattern on a piece of MDF that I had lying around. Then this piece was just a little larger than what I really needed, so I went ahead and trimmed it down to closer to the pattern size.
The boss of this one's talking, and how to have my say. My father raised a gentleman, it won't do to get arrested. Always playing for your pistol, you're bound to get lightheaded.
Now at the bandsaw, I trimmed the MDF down as close as I could to the pattern. Then I'll use the oscillating spindle sander to clean up the cuts after I'm all said and done. Now my bandsaw turned out, the tension had loosened up on me. I don't know why that happened, but I never really checked the tension or anything, so it was loosening up and I wasn't getting the greatest cut, so once I figured that out, it cut just fine.
That gets the truth. Oh, listen to me, hey, sidewinder. Hey, hey, sidewinder. I know you didn't know.
The smallest spindle I have for my oscillating spindle sander is just over 1/2 inch in diameter, so I sanded down to my pattern, giving the best representation of Kentucky as possible. Now Kentucky has a lot of jagged edges that I couldn't really create because of this, but the router bits that I'm going to be using to cut my pattern is actually 1/2 inch in diameter anyway, so whatever the spindle sander can't reach, the router bit's not going to reach either.
Hey, hey, sidewinder. I know you didn't know, didn't you know?
Now I milled up some lumber that I sourced actually here in Kentucky. These are actually trees, the wood here was grown in Kentucky. So I saved you from seeing most of that drawn out process. Basically it was all rough cut lumber, so I had to run it through the joiner, run it all through the planer, cut some boards down to size, and glue them up. After it was all glued up, I ran it through the drum sander to smooth out both sides, because a little bit of glue squeeze out as well as the board shifting ever so slightly, just to get both sides smooth again. If you pass it through the drum sander, that's all it needs.
I know there's times you wanna bring me the old ways, the champions. You wanna send me a dark slate so you can
putting my pattern on my blank that I've made with double-sided tape. I'm using double-sided carpet tape. It's not reinforced, it's just your basic carpet tape. It holds it just fine. I've never had it release on me. So I once again go onto the bandsaw and I trim as close to my pattern as possible. This way the router bit doesn't have to take off nearly as much material. Now at the router table, I have two bits that I'm going to be using. One is a top bearing flush cut bit. I will use that for the grain so I can cut along the grain. Now part of this is going to be going the opposite direction, and instead of cutting all of that with against the grain, which I would quite possibly end up with a lot of chip out, especially with this curly maple. Curly maple is very prone to chipping. I then switch to a bottom bearing bit and then flip my pattern to the bottom, and then I cut the rest.
Love and hate, you will come home, and I hate of love and hate.
Once that was completed, I removed my pattern off of there and ran it on the router table with a chamfer bit and put a chamfer all the way around it. It was during this time when I actually realized that I put the nicest spalting on the backside of the board.
Be just like the other men, I'm tired of walking around. Oh, ooby doo, I wanna be like you. I wanna walk like you, talk like you too. You see it's true, an ape like me can learn to be human too.
I'll ape your mannerisms, so we'll be a set of twins. No one'll know where man cub ends and orangutan begins.
And a little bit of sanding. Actually, there's quite a bit of sanding. I just didn't bother putting all that on video. After I was done with all the sanding, I applied some mineral oil to it. And that really brings out the beauty in that wood.
I wanna be like you, I wanna walk like you, talk like you do. You see it's true, an ape like me can learn to be a human too.
Okay, there we go. We've got a Kentucky. Small cheese board. It's finished. It's got a good amount of mineral oil on there, so it's very well protected. And the curl in that maple is beautiful. I love it when I find some curly maple. But came out really great. I really appreciate you watching this. And sorry, this is my first video, so my video editing technique probably isn't the greatest. And hopefully you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and there will be more videos to come.